I don't want to invite dirty people into my brand new, beautiful home. That's what Lily told me over the phone. The way Lily spoke, it was as if she thought I had no common sense. Just because she's my son's wife doesn't give her the right to insult me like that. And my son is no better. Stay tuned for a mother-in-law's revenge. My name is Grace, and I'm 65 years old. My husband James is 5 years older than me. We live in a lovely house in the suburbs. Our home is filled with antiques and furniture you don't see much of these days, all inherited by my husband. Even at 70, James always says, "Leave it to me, I'll handle it." He takes care of everything himself. It's amazing how he can work in the garden from morning till night and still be so cheerful. I've been inspired by him. Even after retiring, I didn't just rely on my pension. I work at a friend's lunchbox shop. We have a son, Alexander, who's turning 30 this year. He was our long-awaited child, and I think we might have spoiled him a bit. Still, he's now a proud employee of a listed company and has made a life for himself. He started living on his own in the neighboring state, but still visits us a few times a year. He began dating a young lady named Lily, who's 5 years younger, and they got married shortly after. Lily, whom he met at work, is a young and very charming woman, always smiling and well-groomed. My first impression of Lily was that she looked like a princess from a fairy tale. I was thrilled to think such a beautiful woman would become my daughter-in-law. However, that first impression would soon be tested. About a year after their wedding, while I was checking the lottery numbers, a hobby of my husband's, my son called. Lately, he hadn't visited us, always finding some excuse. "It's been a while." "What? You want to live with us?" Apparently, the apartment they were living in was going to be demolished. They decided to build their own house, and while they had chosen the land and the builder, they needed a place to stay for a few months until their new home was ready. "Lily's parents live in an apartment. Our house is big, and we have spare rooms, right? I thought it was a great idea. If you two are okay with it, then I guess it's fine." As my son said, we do have unused rooms. There shouldn't be any problem with them living here for a few months. "Is your job going to be okay? You do realize the commute will be longer, right?" "It'll be fine. Lily's a housewife, and I can work remotely, so we're counting on you." And just like that, he hung up. I wonder if he really understands. The reason he started living on his own was that the commute took 3 hours round trip. Did he forget that? Well, he probably considered the convenience of our place before asking, so I shouldn't worry. Above all, I was genuinely happy to live with my son again. "Why not? Having young people around will add some zest to our lives," my husband said, laughing cheerfully when I told him about our son's request. A few weeks later, my husband was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. He had slipped on a pedestrian bridge and tumbled down the stairs during a walk. When the paramedics called, a chill ran down my spine. Fortunately, he survived, but he had damaged a part of his brain during the fall and was diagnosed with a high-level brain dysfunction. It might be challenging for him to continue his daily life as before. He'll need rehabilitation, and if he's discharged and comes home, he'll need care, possibly from a live-in caregiver or you. The doctor's words brought me to tears in front of someone else for the first time at this age. Given the current situation, I couldn't visit him often, which stressed me out. But when I did see my husband during the short visiting hours, he looked mostly the same. Despite his complaints about wanting to come home, I couldn't bear the thought of sending him to a nursing home. So I decided to bring him home once he was discharged. After a while, my son and his wife finally came to visit. According to them, they were busy with house-related matters and couldn't find the time. They have their own lives. I swallowed my complaints. More importantly, I had something to tell them. I explained that with my husband's care needs, living together might be challenging. So I'm sorry for the sudden change, but let's forget about the living together plan. We don't mind at all. It's okay. What do you mean you don't mind? I was taken aback by Lily's response. Many families live like this. It's not a big deal. Plus, we'll be kicked out of our apartment in a couple of months. Do you expect us to find a new place just for a few months? With a puzzled look, Lily blurted out her thought. I understood her logic, but something about the way Lily said it bothered me. My son, sitting next to Lily, nodded in agreement. He finally spoke up. You know, I might be too busy, but since Lily's a housewife, she can help out with a lot of things, right? Lily responded with a bright smile. Their behavior was a bit concerning, but I was about to face the challenges of caregiving for the first time. If living with my son and his wife meant getting some help, I'd be grateful. All right then, welcome. They seemed pleased with my response and left. Soon after my husband was discharged from the hospital, my son and his wife arrived with loads of luggage. They stuffed everything into the spare room. Without unpacking, they both left to meet some old friends from town. It was like a whirlwind. Oh well. They've been away for a while, so I should cut them some slack for today. I sighed and returned to caregiving and house chores. The doctor was right. My husband had changed completely. He had moments of clarity, but he'd often spill food, get distracted by the TV, and even had accidents. He'd get angry or cry over trivial things, and would stumble or bump into things in our familiar home. I couldn't take my eyes off him. He was undergoing regular rehab, but I wasn't sure if he understood his condition. I'd secretly sigh when he wasn't looking. Once things settled down, I'd need to discuss my husband's current state with my son. Just knowing I wasn't alone gave me some comfort. I never imagined that comfort would be betrayed. Maybe I was too lenient at the start. Even after moving in, my son would lock himself in his room, claiming he was working remotely. Lily, instead of helping with chores, said she was busy unpacking and stayed in her room. Dinner's ready. Only then would they emerge. I'd only see them during meals or when they went out. They wouldn't help with meal prep or even clean up after eating. I wanted to scold them, but I couldn't take my eyes off my unpredictable husband. Within a week of living together, my frustration with them grew. I couldn't trust them with my husband. I quit my job to focus on caregiving and housework. While I worked tirelessly, they continued their lazy routine. Even when I asked Lily for help, she'd say she would, but never did, leaving me to do everything. Living together was a disaster. Their presence only added to my workload. I was at my breaking point. Mom, you look tired, my son remarked during dinner, pointing at me with his fork. If you think so, then help out, he chuckled. Come on, I'm working, even if it's remote. I'm a bit of a clean freak. I can't do the things you do. Their words filled me with rage. Suddenly, my husband shouted, What are you doing? Look, you spilled the soup. I gently wiped the tiny droplet with a tissue. I'm sorry, Dad. See, it's clean now. Okay. Relieved to see him resume eating, I took a deep breath. Lily, however, frowned and stood up, leaving her dishes behind. I'm done. Some food splashed when he yelled. What? Hey, Alexander, I'm still hungry. Let's go out. Lily wrapped her arm around my son's and spoke in a sweet voice. Without hesitation, my son stood up and said nonchalantly, Fine, we're going to grab some food then. Wait, what? How can you just decide that? Even as I tried to stop them, the two left without looking back. With the messy dinner for two left untouched, my husband beside me spoke softly. What a waste. It's so delicious. Hearing his words, she felt a lump in her throat. Every now and then, glimpses of the kind man she married would shine through. Each time it reaffirmed her love for him. Caring for her husband wasn't easy, but mentally he was still sharp as ever. You know, the lottery is coming up. Let's buy a ticket. Maybe we'll win more than $3 this year. At that, her husband laughed heartily. She wished to keep things as normal as possible for him. It had been a month since they started living together. Timing it when her husband was having his therapy session, she called the two, who seldom helped around. Look, I'm not asking you to care for him, but could you at least help a bit with the chores? She explained her husband's condition in detail once more, but they seemed indifferent. Look, to someone old-fashioned like you, it might seem like we're just lazing around, but we're busy with work and planning for our home. I'm swamped preparing for our new place. The only break I get is going out once in a while. She wanted to say that since her husband's discharge, they hadn't been out and she barely slept. But she swallowed her words. Her husband was the one truly suffering. So, you're too busy to help. Can you at least contribute a bit to the household expenses? That's harsh, mother-in-law. We're a young couple, and we'll need money for our future. She shot a cold glare at Lily's teary eyes. Ever since they moved in, the food and electricity bills had definitely increased. It was obvious. They blasted the air conditioner all day and used many electronic devices. And the food? If they didn't like the menu, they'd leave most of it. You two might not get it, but living costs money. Isn't it common sense to contribute if you're staying for more than a month? At her words, Lily pursed her lips and muttered, If we have to pay, what's the point of agreeing to live together? What did you say? I couldn't believe my ears at Lily's words. Lily smiled as if nothing happened. If you need money, maybe stop wasting it on lottery tickets. Save that money instead. That's his only hobby. I won't let you take that away from him. She glared at the smug-looking Lily. Lily, with a shrug and a teasing tone, said, Mother-in-law, you're looking scary. You'll get more wrinkles, you know. Something snapped inside her. Don't mock me when I'm being serious. As she was about to raise her voice, her son loudly tapped the table and sighed. Mom, you're overreacting. Don't scare my Lily. If caregiving is so hard, just send him to a nursing home. Lily's eyes sparkled at his words. What's with those enchanting eyes? What's with that dreamy look? Does she think he's being brave? He knew his father was mentally sound, yet he said such a thing loudly. Couldn't he imagine how his father would feel if he heard that? Seeing her speechless, her son shook his head in exasperation. You think you've hit the nail on the head, huh? Ugh, so annoying. Always getting irritated. Is it menopause or something? Don't even have the money to put yourself in a nursing home? So you're asking us for money? That's not the point. Poor mother-in-law. If my old beauty products are okay, I'll give you some serum. You seem broke, so it's on the house. Lily grabbed her son's arm, smiling triumphantly. The couple left the room, side by side. Soon after, the distant sound of the front door closing echoed. A whirlwind of emotions surged, but I couldn't throw out their massive luggage or kick them out on my own. I decided never to live with them again, telling myself it's just a bit longer. 2 months later, they seemed to have settled into their new home and finally left. They never contributed to household chores or finances, but at least I was free from the immense stress. Looking forward to your housewarming gift! I watched Lily wave with a blank expression. Honestly, I wasn't in the mood to celebrate for such a couple, but they probably expect something. They might invite us over to their new place at least once. Should we prepare something before they ask? We had just received an unexpected bonus, so spending a bit wasn't a big deal. We decided to buy a decently priced wall clock as a housewarming gift for our son and his wife. It was a beautifully crafted radio-controlled clock with a design that would fit any room. We waited for a call from them, but a week passed with no word. Even after what they said, no contact at all. Come to think of it, we don't even know what kind of house they built, let alone their address. It would be too late if something happened to my husband or me. We need to at least know their address for emergencies. I hurriedly called my son. Hello, what's up? After several tries, I finally got through. I had called my son's cell, but it was Lily, sounding quite annoyed, who answered. We haven't heard from you since you moved. You need to tell us your address. Well, if I tell you, you'll come over, right? Of course. We even have a housewarming gift for you. As I said that, Lily laughed coldly, as if mocking me. Hold on, a clock? You think we'd be happy with that? People usually give cash. Guess you're broke. Good thing we didn't tell you our address. I felt anger rising as Lily chuckled and spoke. You asked for a housewarming gift, and now this? That was just being polite. I can't even imagine taking care of your dirty husband, especially not in our brand new house. The demure demeanor she had when they first got married was nowhere to be found. I had my suspicions, but Lily's true nature was worse than I thought. I thought it looked like something out of a fairy tale, and I was kind of right. She was a devil in disguise. Devils only deceive those who are useful to them. We have our house now. There's no benefit in associating with poor, dirty people like you. We don't plan on having anything to do with you anymore. I could picture Lily's face, smirking in contempt. At the same time, something snapped inside me. Soon after, my son came on the line. That's how it is. We don't need your gifts. I feel the same way as Lily. Just live your lives and leave us be. Lily's condescending attitude and my son, who didn't even reprimand her, shocked me. The most surprising was the cold disconnection from the son I had lovingly raised. Any remaining affection for him faded. Oh, I see. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. If that's how they feel, we'll live our lives without them. This house is too big for just the two of us. We had kept it thinking our son might live here, but its purpose is over. I hung up and started preparing for our future. Several years passed. I was enjoying tea in the living room when my phone rang. An unfamiliar number. Hello? Hi, mother-in-law? It's been a while. I was wondering if you could help us out financially? It was Lily, with her usual sugary tone. I feel very sick. She had racked up nearly $30,000 in debt buying luxury items. My son found out, and they were on the brink of divorce. She shopped out of boredom. Why should I give money to someone like you? I asked my parents too, but we're still short. Remember those antiques and dresses you had? Can we sell those? You wouldn't want your dear son to get divorced, right? She had apparently snooped around our house. I've never shown you my dress or told you where it is. I don't care if a stranger gets divorced. Just a little help? With such a big old house, you must have something valuable. We don't have that house anymore. What? I decided to do it the day you all cut ties with me. I sold the land. Now it's just an empty lot with tall weeds growing on it. Lily was speechless at my words. Breaking the silence, Lily exclaimed, "What? I never heard about this! People don't usually share such things. There's no need to," I replied. I could picture Lily's shocked and flustered face on the other end of the phone. That's old news, isn't it? Is it? It feels like just yesterday, my son was so naive and clueless to be so smitten with someone like you. Lily, seemingly irritated by my words, responded with a challenging tone. Were you so broke that you had to sell the house? Living day by day without a home now? It's really sad to be so poor and pitiful. It seemed like Lily just couldn't resist looking down on me. If she wanted a competition, I was ready. I had money, but I used it all. What? I sold it because I won a lot of money. The lottery ticket that everyone said was a waste? It won me $500,000. $500,000? Neither of us ever thought it would really win. When we were wondering what to do with the unexpected windfall, we received the declaration of disownment. To continue living peacefully as a couple, we used the lottery winnings and the money from selling the house and land to move into a luxury retirement community. Just as you all wished, we both moved into a retirement community. It's in the city center, close to the station, fully equipped with the latest appliances. The staff is always there, and if we ask, gourmet meals are served. Thanks to that, the burden of caregiving has reduced, and both your father and I are living very peacefully. Lily was silent for a while. Just as I was about to hang up, she spoke in a sweet voice, reminiscent of when we first met. Mother-in-law, I've always admired you. Taking care of that messy husband of yours is commendable. I apologize for everything up till now. Can we rebuild our relationship? If you're going to flatter, do it right from the start. I won't give you any money, especially after you treated my precious husband like trash. I could hear Lily panicking on the other end. I ignored her and hung up. A while later, Lily visited our home with her father. It seemed she had investigated based on the information I shared. As soon as I sat down, Lily's father shouted desperately, "Why didn't you tell us?" From what he said, it seemed Lily had only told her side of the story to her parents. Being forced to live together, being extorted for living expenses. And I shopped because my son wanted me to look good. And despite being rich, my in-laws won't help. And the newlyweds didn't even give a housewarming gift and sold their family home without telling us the new address. We were both so excited during the family meeting because we had children later in life. It's a parent's duty to do whatever they can for their child's happiness, right? Beside her earnest father, Lily lowered her eyes and sniffled. Her act was Oscar-worthy. I almost applauded in my mind. I'm sorry, but it seems there's a significant discrepancy between what your daughter told you and what I experienced from her. Can we clarify? Of course. I smiled warmly and began to list out all the truths I had learned from Lily, without any exaggeration. Lily's father was taken aback by my straightforward account, looking completely overwhelmed. All lies, Dad! She's making all of this up. Lily's desperate plea only made my words seem more credible. She might be a great actress, but she wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Would you like to hear the last voicemail she left me? Only if you think you can handle it. Wait, you recorded it? Lily exclaimed in surprise. To be clear, we don't have any money left. Ever since she cut ties with us, we've been preparing for our end. We've already arranged for our funerals and graves. We won't be relying on or helping our son and his wife. And just so you know, whichever one of us passes away first, we willed all our assets to the other. Oh, that's it. Lily's shoulders slumped in disappointment. She probably thought she'd eventually get her hands on our inheritance. Seeing her blatant attitude, her father was shocked. I said firmly, "Please leave." Lily and her father left, looking utterly defeated. Just then, my husband, who had been at a recreational activity, returned. Did something happen? Nothing much, just made our stance clear. He tilted his head in confusion, a gesture I found amusing, and I chuckled. Sometime later, our son messaged us, apologizing and informing us of his divorce from Lily. He went on to share unsolicited updates about Lily. After the divorce, she moved back to her parents' home, and they took on her debts. And she seems to be working on dating. She's apparently busy dating now, even asking our son if he knows any good men. She's a devilish woman with only her looks going for her. Well, her future is predictable. Our son, while paying off the house loan by himself, came crying for help. You're the one who cut ties, I responded coldly. I thought maybe our feelings for our son would return once the root of all problems, Lily, was out of the picture. But it seems it'll take some time. We're living peaceful and happy days. Thanks to the staff, we can even go shopping alone. Our relationship with each other has improved, and we're more at ease. We're known as the most loving couple in the facility. We've even been surprised with celebrations on our anniversaries. We haven't won the lottery since that incident, but we still buy tickets. Look, we won $100! I called out to my husband, comparing the winning numbers. What should we do with it? How about a date? He replied with a grin. I couldn't help but blush and smile. When that time comes, I plan to wear the dress I've kept tucked away and head out.